Without a doubt, she is struggling for her life. And the abruptness of it all has left a man by her side who is utterly broken. The man of control, Sarper, has lost all of it. He is witnessing the disappearance of his true love. This is the account of what took place. An recount of a day that devolved into a nightmare, minute by minute. As we reveal the inside scoop, stay tuned. We must first comprehend the reality that Shekinah and Sarper created in order to appreciate the seriousness of this moment. Shekinah Ghana was the quintessential self-made American lady prior to Sarper. She was a very accomplished esthetician in Los Angeles at the age of 41. She co-owned a successful beauty company and led a glamorous, sociable, and financially independent life. Shekinah says, "I've built my life exactly how I want it. I'm not a woman who needs a man. I'm a woman who wants a man." Shekinah had been in love before, having spent time living in Turkey with a previous partner. But after that relationship ended, she returned to the US, focusing on her career and her friends. Love, she thought, might have to wait. Then came Sarper, a 43-year-old personal trainer and model from Istanbul, Turkey. He was by his omission a walking red flag. In my life I have been with 2,500 women. Yes, 25,500. But when I see Shekinah, something is different. She is the one. Their connection was immediate and digital. A whirlwind online romance that quickly escalated. Sarper was charming, attentive, and unapologetically masculine. For Shekinah, he was an intoxicating escape from the men she was used to in Lely. He was, in her words, a dominant man, and she found that exciting. Despite the glaring red flags that her friends and family pointed out, his staggering number of past partners, his demanding nature, his life on the other side of the world, Shekinah decided to take the ultimate leap of faith. She packed her bags, put her business on hold, and moved to Istanbul to be with him. But the reality in Turkey was far more complicated than the online fantasy. The cracks began to show almost immediately. Sarper's dominant nature quickly revealed itself as a need for control. "Sarper, this makeup, it's too much for street. It's not good. You are a lady, my lady. You must look natural, elegant." He dictated her appearance, from the way she did her makeup to the clothes she wore. He even insisted on a no-filter policy for her photos, a stark contrast to Shekinah's curated aesthetics-focused life in Los Angeles. He wanted to control her image, to shape her into his vision of the perfect partner. The control extended beyond her appearance. He set strict rules for their life together. He demanded she be available to him at all times, that she adopted his routine. He even installed a tracking app on her phone, a move that shocked audiences and Shekinah herself. "Shekinah, you put a tracker on my phone. Sarper, that's not normal. That's a huge invasion of my privacy. Sarper, if you have nothing to hide, what is the problem? I just want to know you are safe. I protect what is mine." It was a constant push and pull. Shekinah, the fiercely independent woman, was now in a position where her every move was monitored. Her freedom, the very thing she had worked so hard to achieve, was being systematically chipped away. The stress was palpable. Viewers could see the toll it was taking on her. Her bright smile was often replaced with a look of confusion and frustration. And then there was the issue of his past. The number -2500 loomed over their relationship. While Sarper insisted Chain was the one and that his Playboy days were over, the ghost of his history was ever present. He refused to post her on his social media, fearing the jealousy of past flings. He wanted her to conform to his world, but refused to fully integrate her into it publicly. Yet, for all the conflict, there were moments of undeniable connection. Moments where the audience could see why she stayed. When Sarper wasn't being controlling, he was incredibly loving and attentive. He called her his queen. He showed a vulnerability and a desire for a genuine partnership that seemed to contradict his bad boy persona. "Sarper, you are my family now. You and me, that is all. I will protect you forever." This was the paradox of Sarper and Shekinah. A relationship built on a foundation of red flags, yet held together by a potent, almost addictive chemistry. They fought, they broke up, they got back together. Their season on the other way ended with uncertainty, but they chose to stay together, to continue fighting for their love away from the prying eyes of the TLC cameras. They projected an image of unity on social media, of a couple who had weathered the storm and come out stronger. But beneath the surface, the stress, the constant negotiation of control and freedom, the pressure of a public relationship, it was all simmering. It was a pressure cooker with no release valve. And it seems in the most tragic way imaginable, that pressure has finally exploded. The morning of the incident began like any other in their apartment. Reports pieced together from sources close to the situation paint a picture of domestic normalcy that makes the subsequent events all the more horrifying. It was approximately 9 a.m. Essel time. Sarper, a man of routine, was already awake, having gone through his morning workout. Shay, who often worked on her U.S. business remotely during Turkish mornings, was at her laptop. They had breakfast together. There were no arguments reported, no signs of unusual tension. It was peaceful. The first sign that something was wrong was subtle, easily dismissed. Around 10:30 a.m., Shekinah reportedly complained of a sharp, unusual pain in her upper back between her shoulder blades. She initially brushed it off as a pulled muscle from a workout or from sleeping in an awkward position. Sarper, ever the personal trainer, offered to give her a massage later. She then mentioned feeling incredibly fatigued, a wave of exhaustion so profound it was hard to keep her eyes open. Again, they attributed it to jet lag, which she still experienced from time to time, or the stress of managing her business from a different time zone. A short while later, she began to feel nauseous and elated. She went to the bathroom, splashing cold water on her face. When she came out, Sarper noticed she was pale, her skin clammy. This is the moment when Sarper's concern turned to alarm. He asked her if she was okay. She tried to respond, but the words wouldn't come out right. She reportedly slurred her speech, gesturing towards her chest. She was experiencing shortness of breath, gasping for air. And then the most terrifying symptom appeared, a crushing pain in her chest. She described it later. In a moment of lucidity in the ambulance, as an elephant sitting on my chest, it radiated down her left arm, a classic terrifying sign of a major cardiac event. What happened next was a blow of panic and adrenaline. Sarper, the man who prided himself on being in control, was faced with a situation he had no power over. He rushed to her side, shouting her name. She was unresponsive, her breathing shallow and ragged. His military training and fitness background kicked in. He checked her pulse. It was faint and thuddy. He immediately knew this was a life-or-death situation. He grabbed his phone, his hands shaking so violently he could barely dial the emergency number 112 in Turkey. Sarper says, "My girlfriend, she collapsed. It's her heart, I believe. Her respiration is irregular. Hurry up, please. Please find the address." He did CPR as he waited for the responders. A person close to the family has corroborated this detail. He will probably always be haunted by those desperate moments when he pushed on the woman's chest in an attempt to revive her. Sarper, the guy who carefully regulated every element of his life, including his girlfriend's cosmetics and nutrition, was now engaged in a fierce, primordial conflict with death itself. For Sarper, the paramedics' arrival in a matter of minutes was once in a lifetime. They flooded the flat in a tornado of composed, businesslike haste. Their faces validated Sarper's worst suspicions as they connected Shekinah to a portable ECG. The readings were poor. They yelled Turkish medical words. De-elevation, myocardial infection. They carried her onto a stretcher, gave her oxygen and medicine, and stabilized her as best they could. Sarper, white and stunned, could only look on helplessly. He picked up a little bag and stuffed her phone and wallet inside. He followed them out, leaving the once calm apartment in a condition of chaos. His thoughts blank. An abandoned laptop, a spilled coffee cup, and a chaotic scene. Our source claims that Sarper endured mute suffering during the ambulance ride to the hospital. Shekinah's hand was chilly and unresponsive as he held it. His own heart was thumping in his throat as he observed the paramedics at work and the statistics on the monitor. He simply repeated her name in hushed tones. "Stay with me, baby. Stay with me, please." They reached one of Istanbul's best hospitals, Asabitam Hospital. Sheena was taken right away to the emergency room and then directly to the cardiac catheterization lab, a dedicated operating room for heart operations. Sarper was abandoned in the waiting room, with the impersonal white walls enclosing him. He was in suspended animation for the next few hours. The attention-getter, the subject of his own narrative, was suddenly simply another frightened relative, lost in the faceless medical system. An emergency coronary angiography was conducted by the doctors. In order to identify the obstruction that caused the heart attack, dye is injected into the heart's arteries. They discovered a serious blockage in her left anterior descending artery, also known as a lead obstruction. Because a blockage here is so commonly fatal, this artery is often referred to as the widowmaker artery. In order to keep the blocked artery open and restore blood flow to her heart, they conducted an angioplasty, inserting a balloon to unblock it and a stent, a thin mesh tube. Technically, the treatment was successful. The damage had already done when they keyed the obstruction. One muscle is the heart. Its tissue starts to perish when its blood supply is cut off. The damage increases with the length of the obstruction. The physicians and paramedics, however, had moved quickly. Shekinah had sustained severe damage to a large section of her cardiac muscle. She had a very weak heart now. Sarper met with the lead cardiologist following the procedure. It was bleak news. Her health was very precarious, even though they had prevented her from dying on the operating table right away. The process went according to plan, Mr. Guven. We succeeded in opening the artery, but the heart attack was a serious one. There is extensive injury to the muscle. Although she is still alive, her condition is extremely serious. It's critical over the following 24 to 48 hours. She is highly susceptible to cardiac arrest and other issues due to her extremely weak heart. She's in the intensive care unit. We're exerting every effort. You must get yourself ready. She is still in danger. Get ready. The two words a doctor says that every loved one fears hearing. They were a gut hit to Sarper. What he saw when he was permitted to see her in the intensive care unit devastated him. In a hospital bed, Shekinah, the lively, attractive woman, lay still. She was connected to a symphony of machines that were keeping her alive via a network of wires and tubes. She was breathing on a ventilator. Medication was poured into her veins via 4 lines. Medication to try to regulate her shaky heartbeat and support her blood pressure in order to prevent blood clots. There was only the steady, menacing beep of the heart monitor and the rhythmic mechanical whoosh of the ventilator. Our source, who called a distraught Sarper, paints a picture of a man who is entirely different from the character he portrayed on television. Raw, unadulterated misery had taken the place of the confidence, the arrogance, the bravado. According to reports, he spoke to her while holding her hand at her bedside for hours despite the fact that she was unconscious and under sedation. He begged her to engage in combat. He said he was sorry. Sarper says, "My queen, my Shekinah, what is this? I'm so sorry for everything, the makeup, the control. It's all so stupid. None of it matters. Only you matter. You are my everything. You changed my life. You cannot leave me. Cannot go back to before. There is no before. There is only you. You must fight. Please fight for me. Need you. I love you so much." In that sterile, quiet room, the entire narrative of their relationship was stripped bare. The power dynamics, the public scrutiny, the cultural clashes, all of it dissolved, leaving only the fundamental truth of his love and his terror. He saw the woman he had tried to change and realized with gut-wrenching clarity that he didn't want to change anything. He just wanted her back. He wanted to hear her laugh again, to argue with her over something trivial, to just have her be there. He has not left the hospital. He's been sleeping in a chair in the waiting room, refusing to go home. He only leaves her side when the nurses force him out. He is a man adrift. his entire world having shrunk to the four walls of that ICU room, and the fragile rhythmic beep of a machine that tells him the love of his life is still for now alive. The question that everyone is asking is, how could this happen? How could a 42-year-old woman, a non-smoker who is health-conscious and active, suffer such a massive heart attack? While we do not have her official medical records, cardiologists we have consulted with have pointed to several possibilities, one of which is deeply connected to the life we saw her living on television. While traditional risk factors are the most common cause, heart attacks in younger, seemingly healthy women are not unheard of, and they often have different causes. One condition that doctors look for in cases like this is SAD, or spontaneous coronary artery dissection. This is a tear in an artery wall that can cause a blockage. It's more common in women and can be triggered by extreme physical or emotional stress. But another more potent possibility is a condition known as Takei-Tubo cardiomyopathy, more commonly known as broken heart syndrome. Broken heart syndrome is a temporary heart condition that is brought on by severe emotional or physical stress. Stress from a sudden illness, the loss of a loved one, a serious accident, or an intensely stressful and tumultuous relationship. The sudden flood of stress hormones like adrenaline can essentially stun the heart muscle, causing it to change shape and pump weakly, mimicking a classic heart attack. It is overwhelmingly more common in women than in men. We can only speculate, but it is impossible to ignore the immense pressure Shekinah has been under for the past year. She uprooted her entire life. She moved to a new country where she didn't speak the language. She was in a constant state of negotiation with a partner whose love came with a long list of conditions, and she did it all under the glaring spotlight of reality television with millions of people judging her every decision. Was the constant stress of her relationship with Sarper a contributing factor? Did the pressure of living up to his expectations, of sacrificing her independence, of navigating their volatile dynamic, create a chronic state of emotional distress that physically manifested in the most brutal way? We may never know for sure, but for Sokka sitting by her hospital bed, this possibility must be an unbearable burden. The thought that his actions, his need for control, his love may have played a role in pushing her body to the breaking point is a weight that he will have to carry forever regardless of the outcome. As news of Shekinah's condition began to leak out, first through unconfirmed whispers on Reddit forums and then through more reliable insider blogs, the 90-day Fiancé community has exploded. The reaction has been a mixture of overwhelming support and predictable controversy. Mock post Jasmine and Penida. My heart is breaking to hear the news about my fellow 90-day sister Shekinah. She is a beautiful soul. Life is so fragile. Gino and I are sending all our prayers and positive energy to her and Sarper for a full recovery. Stay strong. #90day Fiancé and pray for Shekinah. Many of their fellow cast members have rallied in support. Jasma and Penida, no stranger to public relationship drama, was one of the first to post sending prayers. Others like David and Annie, Kenny and Armando, and Lauren and Alexi have shared messages of love and hope on their stories. Fan accounts and bloggers have been working overtime trying to piece together information, with many expressing genuine shock and sadness. The overwhelming majority of fans are flooding Shekinah and Sarper's social media pages with messages of support. I'm praying for you, Shekinah. Fight, girl. Sarper, stay strong for your queen. We are all thinking of you. This is devastating. Forget the show. These are real people with real problems. Hope she pulls through. But this is the 90-day universe. And with the support comes the speculation and in some corners the blame. I hate to say it, but are we surprised? The stress Sarper put her under was insane. He controlled everything about her. This is what happens. I bet they had a huge fight and that's what caused it. Is this for real or for attention? They're supposed to be on the new season of Happily Ever After, right? Seems convenient. He better not be asking for GoFundMe money. A vocal minority is pointing the finger directly at Sarper, claiming his controlling behavior and the stress of their relationship are directly to blame for Shekinah's collapse. The narrative they created on television of the domineering man and the woman who gave up everything is now being used as evidence in the court of public opinion. For now, Sarper remains silent. His social media, usually active with workout videos and couple photos, has gone dark. He is in a bubble of grief and fear, like he oblivious to the storm of speculation raging online. But if and when he does emerge, he will have to face not only his own private trauma, but also a public that is already writing the story, casting him as either the grieving partner or the villain at the center of a tragedy. And so we are left here in the quiet hum of a hospital ICU. Thousands of miles from the glitz of Los Angeles, a life hangs precariously in the balance. Shekinah, a woman who sought love and adventure, has found herself in a battle for her very survival. The doctors have done all they can surgically. Now it is a waiting game. They are waiting to see if her heart, so badly damaged, has the strength to recover. They are watching for any sign of improvement, any flicker off the vibrant woman who is trapped inside that fading body. Every beep of that monitor is both a sign of hope and a reminder of how fragile that hope is. And Sarper Guven, the man who wanted to build his perfect woman, is now praying for a miracle to save the real woman he fell in love with. He is learning the hardest lesson of all, that true love is not about control but about cherishing what you have. And he may have to learn it in the cruelest way possible. This story is far from over. The next few days will determine Shekinah's fate. We along with the entire 90-day Fiancé community are watching, and we are waiting. We are hoping. This is a developing story, and we will continue to bring you updates as we receive them from reliable sources. The situation is incredibly sensitive, and we want to extend our profound sympathy to Shekinah Sarper and their families. If you want to stay updated on this story, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell, and please in the comments below. Update: marital conflict after marriage. Sarper reveals Shekinah kicked him out less than 1 month after they got married. But why? Within a month of their marriage, Sarper claims that Shekinah evicted him from their shared house. On Sunday, June 22nd, host Sean Robinson revealed during the Tell-All segment of 90 Day Fiancé Season 11 that Shekinah had sent producers a video shot on Christmas Day after one of their arguments. In the footage, Sarper had removed his ring and placed it on a table. It's the morning of Christmas. Normally Sarper sits here in the morning, but he's not here, Shekinah stated in the ring displaying video. In addition to wishing us a Merry Christmas, she mentioned that Sarper had left an AirTag behind. Sarper clarified that after being asked to vacate, he was required to remain in a rental for 10 days. Less than a month had passed since our marriage. Shekinah informed everyone, "I need to relax, yet I'm unable to do so." According to Sarper, their arguments grew more heated as they struggled with the severity of their problems. Shekinah's buddy Dan commented that a man who is 1000% in love wouldn't act in such a manner as Sarper did. "I think he doesn't really love me if he can get up and go so quickly." A confessional was added by Shekinah. At the end of the day, Sarper described their marriage as a roller coaster with many ups and downs, and she acknowledged, "We're not good. Everything seems to have changed after we got married, and this is just my worst nightmare coming true." He also said that they didn't even share a hotel room the night before the interview. Shekinah had previously noted that Sarper's conduct had altered following his relocation to the United States. She claimed that he turned resentful and reclusive. Sarper acknowledged, "I don't like the marriage," adding that it carried with it additional tasks and responsibilities that he finds burdensome, and, "I am a control freak, so I have to have control over things, and I get depressed when I don't. We have egos," Sarper explained, adding that even small arguments would escalate into heated altercations. "It keeps getting bigger and bigger like an avalanche, and then it blows up," he stated. He also bemoaned the fact that Shekinah had not spent any time with his group of friends in the 4 months following the wedding. Shekinah had also changed physically, according to Sarper, who said she had shed a significant amount of weight. Tensions then increased as Sarper began disparaging Dan, comparing him to a spare tire and comparing him to a donkey who believes he is the unicorn, using their previous dating history as support. He even suggested that Dan might pose a threat to their partnership. Shekinah and Sarper were still arguing backstage. Shekinah acknowledged that she didn't think she could please Sarper. According to Sarper's confession, they now feel as though they are enemies to one another. "I suddenly became really agitated. Because he isn't a supportive partner," She acknowledged this in her confessional. For a period. I'm not feeling well. For me it's a moment. I'm by myself. Is my emotionality the reason you're angry with me? Shekinah sobbed. The fact that you require so much therapy is absurd. Before threatening his wife, Sarper claimed that Shekinah drives him crazy. If you lose me because of you, you'll govern like a dog. You referred to me as a dog. What's wrong? Shekinah gave a tearful response. But Sarper continued to irritate her by calling her pampered and mischievous. Shekinah sobbed and requested Sarper to leave her alone, adding, I'm tired of it. It's so toxic. After leaving the dressing room, Sarper told producers that she was impossible and that Shekinah couldn't get what she wants from Sarp. Why did Shekinah and Sarper, stars of 90 Day Fiancé, argue at the To Tell All? On every 90 Day Fiancé show, at least one pair would be in complete meltdown mode. And this time it was Sarper and Shekinah's turn. The newlywed couple brought more strife than harmony to the stage. Their piece offered an unbiased look at what has been happening behind closed doors, along with startling video disclosures and confessions that made the host uneasy. Not only did the ups and downs span months, but they were also brought on by holidays, hurt sentiments, and a few hurtful remarks that will never be forgotten. Shekinah's voice broke at one point as she recalled a lonely Christmas. Meanwhile, Sarper, looking exhausted but defensive, argued that their arguments start out small but gradually spiral out of hand. Right now, Shekinah and I are practically at odds with each other. He claimed that the gut punch that revealed everything was a film that Shekinah had provided to the producers during a particularly trying period. In the Never Air footage, she was shown sitting alone and said, It's Christmas morning. He's left. He dropped his ring and AirTag. It was more subdued, straightforward, and expressive than a tirade. Over the holidays, Sarper had removed his ring and vanished. Merry Christmas to us, Shekinah had said in a tremulous voice. Less than a month had passed since their nuptials. At this point, the host asked the question that everyone was curious about. What caused the dramatic departure? Sarper explained that he was not only left, but expelled. She threw me out of the house and I left the ring. He hired an apartment for 10 days. Despite his indication that the cause was not particularly important. His assertions were refuted by the emotional fallout. Investigating further, the broadcaster asked what caused the explosion. Sarper admitted that there was not a single significant problem. He stated, It's not cheating at all. We forget what it was about when it grows larger from the little things. Arguments spiral fast, said he. Shekinah wasn't going to ignore that without expressing her opinion, so I yell at her and end up screaming, You're not acting well toward me and I am to blame. I need to be more composed but I can't. This isn't who I am. Every time they argue, Sarper keeps threatening them. She asserted that he makes a commitment to go back to his home country and interact with local women. That tendency is deeply rooted, she said. If he can just get up and leave, I don't think he truly loves me. When they opened up to the camera behind the scenes, neither of them presented a favorable image of themselves. Now Sarper called them foes. I can't get her to sit with me. Feel something like that. It's a terrible feeling. But she seemed emotionally tired. I just feel like I can't make him happy. There is nothing I can do to please him. Furthermore, he is not a useful friend. As soon as she admitted that she was having a moment, she began to cry. I'm not feeling well. The final strike followed. You will lose me as a result of you, and you will regret it like a dog. Saying kind words like, I hope you find peace in your marriage, Sarper sneered and glared at her. The host made an effort to lighten the tone. But neither Sarper nor Shekinah seemed particularly hopeful. Their expressions were flawless. A huge Shekinah and Sarper update got things started. But how are things right now? The performers in season 11 of 90 Day Fiancé wasted no time in getting into their drama as the show enters the reveal stage. That must be the case because this special only consists of 2 pieces. I also find it surprising because I believe we could discuss Shekinah and Sarper Guven's current predicament for an entire segment. Sean Robinson said that the cast was curious about how things were going after the 90-day marriage. At the start of the season, when the couple had the most events to date, Sarper was concerned that he wouldn't be able to go to America. He was so worried that it would turn out like his first marriage that he nearly ended the affair altogether. There was more drama to unravel since it turned out that there was much more to reveal that occurred after the cameras stopped recording. I guess I should have foreseen this when Sarper demanded that any prenuptial agreement he signed include away close. But I was just as shocked as everyone else on screen when Shekinah realized their marriage was crumbling. They had all arrived at the hotel separately and had slept in separate hotel rooms the night before the filming. The problem seemed to be that the couple was struggling to adapt to their new dynamic in the United States. Sarper likes to be in command, but since they moved in together, he has relied more and more on Shekinah for a lot of things. He no longer drew the outline of her new nosework with joy. Instead, the couple is just trying to get by while living together in one house. I had to look at Shekinah and Sarper's social media posts after watching the episode. The fact that this 90-day couple doesn't seem to have split up after getting married, and that their social media interactions seem to be fairly typical surprises me. They seem to still be in love and spending a lot of time together, whether you visit Sarper's page, she's, or their couple's account. The couple seems to be doing well months after the filming of the film. Or maybe they were making the drama more dramatic in order to get more screen time in the future. In the end, happy and healthy couples are not allowed to spend time at 90-day, the last resort. At the time of the reveal, the Guvens might have been having marital issues. However, as of right now, my main conclusion is that social media doesn't show any signs of that. Similar to reality TV, Instagram might not always give a whole image of what goes on behind closed doors. If I had to guess, I would say that their marriage is doing well at the moment. While Stevie disagrees, Sarper explains why he removed his ring in episode 19 of season 11 of 90-Day Fiancé, which debuted on June 22nd and marked the season's eagerly awaited reveal all part 1. After filming was completed, a number of cast members got together to discuss their experiences on the show and to discuss specific situations. They also related personal anecdotes. Sean Robinson, the tell-all anchor, was shown an unseen footage of Shekinah and Sarper fighting. The producers had received the film from Shekinah after season 11 ended. Sarper was captured on camera leaving his ring on Christmas Eve. When asked about it, Sarper claimed that the villa was removed after he and Shekinah argued and left the ring to stay at a rental. Another incident involved Stevie and said Mart's best friend arguing about marital issues at the 90-Day Fiancé tell-all. On Christmas Eve, she recorded the invisible film that revealed the ring Sarper had left behind. Sarper said that Shekinah had kicked him out of the house when the tell-all host asked him why he had made the choice. He had thus booked into a rental unit and departed the ring. Just 1 month after their marriage, the incident took place. Shekinah disclosed. When Sean questioned Sarper about the altercation, Sarper claimed it had nothing to do with cheating or anything significant. He explained that I was yelling at her, and it turned out that you weren't acting nicely toward me, which is what provoked the reaction before they lost sight of the fight's goal. He went on to say that he felt accountable because he was supposed to remain composed, which his background hindered. Shekinah's ex-boyfriend Dan, who was also invited to the 90-Day Fiancé tell-all, told him that it was wrong to treat Shekinah in this way and with such disdain. Shekinah claims that whenever they disagreed, Sarper would threaten to return to Turkey. Dan claims that they didn't respect each other enough to be together. He questioned Sarper's love for Shekinah, claiming that their relationship was devoid of affection. Seed stated in the 90-Day Fiancé tell-all that he thought Marty had a lot of promise that could be fulfilled with the right support. When asked what kind of help he thought Marty needed, Stay joked back. Details were examined in response to the inquiry. What is he doing after a year? Why did Sarper move out weeks after marrying Shekinah on 90-Day Fiancé? Shekinah Ghana and Sarper aren't getting along in paradise. The pair with the 90-Day Fiancé. Shekinah and Sarper exchanged vows at a bedding ceremony on the 90th wedding season of the reality show while lying on a bed. The wedding was held on November 11, 2024. Less than 30 days after the wedding, Sarper claimed he was kicked out of Shekinah's house. Sarper says he was taken from his house by force and had to live in a rental house for 10 days. He claims that a series of small arguments that turned into something more serious caused him to leave the house. "I should really relax," he said, "but I simply can't. It is not a reflection of who I am." There was even more mystery and behind-the-scenes surprises in Season 11 of 90 Day Fiancé. The off-screen marital outbursts between Sarper and Shekinah were made public. Below is a detailed account of the couple's exchanges during the tell-all. On June 22, 2025, host Sean Robinson revealed the shocking information that Shekinah had submitted a video of her husband's wedding ring. After a dispute with the producers, he had left the one on the table. One thing that Garner says in the video is, "Here we are on Christmas morning. In the mornings, Sarper typically sits here, but he has disappeared. Plus he abandoned his ring. Please accept our heartfelt Christmas greetings." After Shekinah gave her husband an AirTag and a ring, she displayed them to him. In addition, Shekinah revealed that Sarper frequently brought up returning to his home country of Turkey during their fights. This makes Tekken doubt that her husband loves her deeply. Someone who loves her wouldn't do something like this. According to her buddy Dan, according to Ghana, "I feel like he doesn't truly love me if he can so easily get up and leave." Both spouses appear dissatisfied with the marriage in the confessional. "We're really bad. When we tied the knot, I felt like my life shifted dramatically and now my worst nightmare is actually happening." Shekinah said a roller coaster was her husband's description of their marriage. "He came clean. I am always the control freak. So I have to control things, and when I don't control things I feel depressed. I don't like the marriage." Guven went on to explain, "A lot of additional obligations and responsibilities were thrust upon me as a result of it. We all have egos and being dependent is my worst fear. Whenever we get into an argument, it's usually over something minor. Its size increases exponentially, much like an avalanche. Afterwards, it detonates." His wife said that things changed for the worse once Guven arrived in the United States. After the move, she felt that he grew depressed and bitter. "Let me put it bluntly. He is not a supportive partner. As a result, I suddenly became rather distressed. I am completely out of sorts. It's happening right now." She came clean about how lonely she was. The couple's fight persisted backstage, following their segment at the tell-all. Garner exclaimed, "You're mad at me for having emotions." When they were in the dressing room, "It is just absurd how much therapy you require." Ghana, who was crying, objected to the comment, saying, "You compared me to a dog." He said, "You will regret like a dog," and added, "You will lose me just because of you. Are you feeling ill?" After expressing her dissatisfaction with the unhealthy relationship, she then told her husband to leave Midaf alone. In the 90 Day Fiancé tell-all episode, Shekinah and Sarper's marital tensions reached a boiling point, and Sarper finally called his wife ******ing impossible, and she claimed that her husband couldn't make her happy. Guven has become apprehensive about the fact that their marital issues started within the first month of their wedding. No more today. What are your thoughts on this gossip? Please share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this one.